So we'll start by exploring this from a broader scale, as we're in the map sense, and then move in a little more closely to get a look at the finer details. So if we open this book's front cover, for a start, we've got the Lagaplan, the large format map here that folds out like so, and you've got the entire quadrant of northwestern France as the Germans designated it at the time. So we've got some familiar cities and landmarks here. We got Paris over here on the top right with Versailles as well. We've got the Port Le Havre here. There's Cherbourg on the peninsula. We've got Brest on the far western coast. We've got Nantes in the south right here. So that's the kind of scope that this book and this map pack actually cover as a whole. And you'll notice in blue, each of these regions have corresponding numbers, 11 through 18 in this case. So those numbers are telling the reader which map from this pack here to consult when they are navigating those areas. So that being said, we'll fold this back up for a moment and we will go over to the map pack. So we'll pick a familiar city in the minds of most of us. For example, here is map number 11, as it is highlighted on the front cover here. And we got Blot 11, page 11, the Cherbourg-Rouen region there, which is most of the Normandy coast area that would eventually be invaded and landed on by the Allies in 1944 to liberate the country. So we'll move this map pack aside for a moment and we'll carefully expand this out to show the whole region. So a pretty large map it looks like. It's very important to be careful when you're unfolding maps like this because paper, once you fold it, likes to stay that way and it will get ingrained in those creases over time. And as you unfold them, they can become delicate. But luckily, it looks like this map pack has almost never been used, and that lends very well to looking at these right here today. So here we've got virtually the whole province of Normandy here in northern France. We've got, there's Le Havre, as I mentioned. There's Caen, a very familiar city to most of us who have heard of the Normandy campaigns before. That was one of the main objectives of the Allied landing forces. Within the first few days, that was one of the cities they actually wanted to get to. But incidentally, as it turned out, it took them until July 9th, 1944, just to move even that far inland. Such was the strength of the German resistance. We've also got Bayeux over here, which if you've heard of the Bayeux tapestry from the Middle Ages, that's where that is. On the top left over here, we've got Cherbourg on the Cotentin Peninsula, which is actually one of the ports that the Titanic stopped at on its ill-fated maiden voyage. And if you look along the coastline in this area back around Caen here, you'll notice some of the general terrain and the outline of the coast and how familiar they look as far as where the eventual Normandy landing beaches would actually be. Plus, in these insets over here, we've got the British Channel Islands, which, as I say, they're not actually a part of France. They are a part of the UK, but German forces did in fact land on the Channel Islands and occupy them during the war. So they wanted to be prepared to actually land on them and know how to navigate them as well, despite how small they were by comparison. So this map as a whole is a 1 to 200,000 scale. And for a more detailed look at one of the cities, when you actually entered a city and needed a better idea of how to get around them, that's when we go back to the book.